Horse made me laugh, and I just shut my brain off and just had fun with the episode.
See, that's I think
because that's a good chunk of what Bebop is expecting. Just kind of shut your brain off
and just enjoy it for what it is, because with the setup of the show, they're just able to throw their characters into whatever because of the whole bounty hunter setup. So they can throw themselves with this like weird psycho internet cult, and it makes sense for the world, but it doesn't really have any ramifications for them in the future. It just shows how that character would interact with the situation. And I mean, ultimately, it doesn't help you to interact with these characters. You just gotta see, hey, do I like this character and how they interact with the situation? No, then the character's not interesting to you.
Mm-hmm.
See, like I don't hate Spike because I like interrupting Josh. What's up, Chair? And welcome, Towel. Finally, we can get your opinions. Can confirm.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the stream. We're wrapping up Cowboy Bebop, the last 7 episodes. It's about fucking time. Yeah. Here we go. We got the 4 Goonies. We're gonna give our hot takes. And more specifically, the 3 of them will give their hot takes. I'm just going to be eating my shit off camera.
Hey, no, Towel's here. Towel's here.
Yeah, come on. Okay. Have some respect.
The 3 people and the object.
Yeah. Thank you for using my pronouns, dude. I enjoy being an object.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
But what? We are covering the last 7 episodes of Cowboy Bebop this week.
Episodes 20 through 26.
I think there was I think the last 2 episodes I really enjoyed, and like 2 of them I didn't really care about too much. The rest were pretty fine. But overall, I enjoyed the rewatch of Cowboy Bebop, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as my first watch through, because I've watched so much other shows, so I kind of see what this show was like. You know, like Mitch said in previous episodes of Cowboy Bebop, there's really no growth or stakes or anything with meeting new characters. It's just kind of, they're gone forever at this point, which is kind of disappointing for some newer characters that we meet throughout the show.
Yeah. I was actually more interested in the last 3 episodes of the series, because that's when we actually started getting, I guess, more or less some closure for these characters, which I also had some gripes about, because why did we have to wait until the last 3 episodes to introduce and then also close a story with, Ed, for example? Ed just showed up, and then we find out that, all right, this boy-girl / thing was an orphan, and okay, maybe they have a dad. Okay, where's the dad? Oh, small world. That's the bounty.
Yeah, and then the dad just keeps sucking on eggs, just going little.
Yep. And all of a sudden, this dad is this badass kung fu dude that
dude completely bodies Spike and Jet. I was like, I can't believe it. This guy? What, he learned that from fucking studying meteors that fall through the sky?
He's such a shit father too.
He's a geologist. We
Dude,
just know. Yeah,
he is a pretty dog shit father, because as soon as he finally reunites with Ed, a meteor falls down. He's like, oh, bye, Felicia.
Get the hell out of here. Did you hear the reason why they were separated? Because the dude forgot he put Ed in a daycare center. He just forgot about it until 7 years later. He's like, oh shit, my daughter's at daycare. That's right.
Yep.
No, he doesn't even know if Ed is a boy or girl.
True. That's true.
Don't even go that far.
Do we know if Ed's a boy or a girl? Let's be honest.
I mean,
I don't know. I think it
definitely proves that is definitely Ed's father. So
very progressive.
I have issues with the final 3 episodes. Like you said, we finally got some actual story, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, we finally got some closure for these characters, but they did such a shit job getting to those moments that I didn't care about any of them. I just wanted the show to end. I was like,
I think that's very true for Julia. Like, she was just kind of. I don't agree with 100% with Spike.
I didn't give a shit about Spike this entire 26 episodes.
Well, I'm saying that Julia definitely got way less showtime than obviously Spike. At least we saw at least 2 episodes of his backstory before we got to the whole shebang at the end. But Julia was just kind of ham-fisted in there at the end, and she was supposed to be the main lady to Spike.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of, just trips on a roof and, it's over. She sprained her ankle and then she just fucking dies. Right?
Yeah, she took a rest.
She didn't get shot in the back or anything. She just tripped. All the doves got scared away.
No, the show was, we're gonna be a comedy for 24 episodes, and then we're gonna be really, really, really serious for the last 2. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
And we want you to suspend your sense of reality and allow all the sci-fi, fictional, whatever happens for 24 episodes. And then when it's the final 2, we're going to make it really gritty and really realistic. And we're going to go against all that stuff we said about it just being fun and like Spike can hold his breath in space. Don't worry about it. But, Julia, like you said, the main love interest, the super important character we've been building up to this whole time. Oh yeah, she gets caught by a stray bullet from these seemingly unpowerful, or just not dangerous goons just randomly shooting at them. She gets caught by a stray bullet and she's dead now.
Yeah, and then Spike runs through like a fucking war zone to get to Vicious at the end.
Yeah,
Yep.
he flows like water.
Bro, I genuinely
Julie doesn't know how.
Like, I don't want to speak for Yossef, but I think Yossef's like, yeah, the show was whatever. I genuinely dislike this show. Like, it's one of my least favorite watches I've ever had.
Dude, like, I'm like, yeah, this show is fine, but I can't watch the show. Like, I can't sit down
It
and just
puts me to
watch it.
sleep.
I can't.
It
Like,
bores
the
me
only
to sleep.
reason I was able to finish watching it, I started at episode 20 last night. I pop on the episode and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to watch more than this one episode tonight. I can't do this shit. But I mean, I just let it keep playing, and this morning I had to finish it, and I don't know. I think the last 3 episodes hit a little bit different, but I don't know. I'm not too crazy about it either.
This show,
I'm glad I watched it just to get my opinion on it.
yeah.
I will probably never watch it again though.
This show, obviously to a way, way less extent, but this show had the same effect to me that Cromartie did.
It's coming back.
Where I was watching an episode and halfway through I was like, I don't want to fucking watch because none of this fucking matters. I can't attach to any character or any plot line because there are no plot lines. The characters are so flat, so boring. Like, it was just painful to watch at points. And then you have like the very rare good episode where like you get super attached to this one random side character and then they fucking die or they just disappear for the rest of the show. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like the episode 20. Episode 20, I enjoyed episode 20 a lot because the animation was fucking nuts.
Is that the crazy guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animation was
That's why I told
good.
you before, but I mean,
The animation was so good, and then the concept of that villain, I was like, that would have been a good villain for like a 12 episode show.
He is terrifying because he is a killer like assassin with an ungodly amount of just durability and skill, and he has the intelligence of a child, or like, was it the personality of a child? So he has no
the maturity.
Yeah, no ramifications for any of his actions. He is just a fucking kid. And it's terrifying.
I was like, that would have been a fucking great antagonist for like a 12 or a 6 episode miniseries. But no, he just fucking dies in the first episode we meet him. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it makes sense how he died, though.
Yeah, it was a very good death, but instead of Spike just going into an alley and the guy be like, "What's up, boy?" and start fucking shooting him. Like,
yeah, the setup for that was definitely just like,
like, that's so fucking dumb. I hated with a passion the fucking like this Spike clone cowboy episode.
Oh dude,
my God,
what are you talking about? That episode was fucking great.
It was just annoying, dude.
So annoying.
It was the stupidest shit.
Why?
Like, there was the comedic relief of the one dude that's like, what was the one dude from Cromartie that every time they tried to say what his name was, they wouldn't let him finish?
Yeah,
this was that.
The bomber
guy?
guy?
Like a fucking teddy bear dude.
Mm-hmm.
The one who was supposed to actually be like the antagonist and the bomber killing people. They were like, nah, we don't care about you.
Dressing up as a teddy bear. What a true scum of society. Has like 16 rich watches and like fucking 25 little stuffed bears with TNT in them.
It's just so casual too. I was just so shocked at the part where they were like at that party. They were all like, it was a cosplay convention. And then like the dude just shows up in a panda suit. It's like, oh, how'd you know it was me? Oh, you guys aren't gonna acknowledge me. Click. Fucking just sets off 1,000 fucking bombs. He's just like in front of. I don't know, dude. It's I don't know. It was. I don't know. It was stupid.
It's supposed to be
I'm
a dumb
triggered. I can't even
episode.
talk. I'm triggered at that.
Yeah.
But
That was the whole
Well,
gimmick. You literally had a
They could
horse
have.
come into the party through an elevator by itself.
yeah.
Like, what? Like, if
I
you
thought-
were trying to take that episode serious, you were not watching that
No,
episode
I'm not
right.
trying to take the episode serious. If it's a funny episode, it should be funny, and that wasn't funny at all.
Mhm.
It was just
I
boring.
thought I wasn't trying to. It was funny. The
was-
horse made me laugh. Horse made me laugh, and I
That's-
just shut my brain off and just had fun with the episode.
See, that's I
Because
think part of the
because that's a good chunk of what Bebop is expecting. Just kind of shut your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is. Because with the setup of the show, they're just able to throw their characters into whatever because of the whole bounty hunter setup. So they can throw themselves with this like weird psycho internet cult, and it makes sense for the world, but it doesn't really have any ramifications for them in the future. It just shows how that character would interact with this situation. And I mean, ultimately, it doesn't help if you're trying to connect with these characters. You just got to see, hey, do I like this character and how they interact with this situation? No, then the character's just not interesting to you.
Mhm. I
See,
think
like
that's part of-
I don't hate Spike because I like interrupting Josh. What's up, chair? And welcome, Towel. Finally, we can get your opinions. But you know, Mitch may not like the cool dude that just smokes like a cigarette and stuff like that. But I'm fine with that. You know, I'm able to shut my brain off and just enjoy this dumb character that really has no stakes for most of the show until the very end. That's just a difference of opinion, I guess. What'd you say, Tal?
Tal was trying to say that it thinks that that's part of why we aren't super connecting to the show, and frankly why you enjoyed it less on this second time around is that our expectations, not to necessarily say that this show is inherently bad even in a vacuum, but that our expectations are of shows like Demon Slayer, Full Metal, Attack on Titan, My Hero, Black Clover, etc., where it's like this is a large or overarching story. Things, you know, individually maybe there's differing levels of story progression, but there's a whole story being told. It's all leading up to something. Whereas this show, it's more like we've said before, individualized adventures and things that are not very connected piece over
Self-contained.
piece. Yeah, self-contained stories. And like I know that I think at one point we were comparing it to Pokemon, and I thought about this earlier. Even with Pokemon, there's the overarching story of he wants to become the champion or he wants to catch them all. And even like in a small group of episodes, you can be like, okay, well, he's on his way to this town to fight this gym leader. That's what's happening while he's having these random adventures with these side characters who may never show up ever again. But there's a goal that he's working towards. He's slowly getting closer to that town. With this show, it's just like, who the fuck knows what's happening or where we're headed? And yeah, it all comes to an end by the end here, but I feel like all of us could have, if not we did, completely predict the ending of the show. Like, yeah, Vicious was going to be involved. Yeah, Julia was going to show up. That's not a surprise. And I don't know. I'm trying to appreciate and enjoy this show for what it is and try not to kind of bring in those other expectations and stuff from other shows, but I feel like that's on the one hand, I feel like that's a good thing. On the other, I just don't feel like that we should have to be doing that. I don't think that we should have to be like, let me not compare this to the other good anime that I've watched. That's not.
Well, Josh,
I
I
think
got a
on
question
us
for
to
you
have to do.
because I don't think this question applies to either Mitch or Yossef. But do you think your opinion on Bebop is a little bit swayed because you have to talk about it, so you have to watch it with kind of like reviewer eyes?
Initially, and I mean, obviously, like just to remind everybody, this was my pick. We've all had our own individualized picks of shows that we wanted to watch. Traz was Cromartie, Yossef, God, I feel horrible.
Megalobox.
Yours was Megalobox. Mitch, which was yours?
Noragami.
Noragami, right. So, if you asked all of us how do we feel about each of those shows, I'm sure you'd get mixed reviews. But like,
11 out of 10.
picked
Come on.
this.
Best show ever.
Right. So
Look at
I
Mitch's
picked
face.
this.
He agrees. See, look at that smile.
I
That
picked
fucking
this
grin.
wanting it
That
to be
shit-eating
good.
grin.
I picked this and I watched this every week, expecting to be like the kind of strongest advocate for it. And unfortunately, now that I'm at the end, week after week that we watched this, I was wanting it to get good. I was wanting it to really surprise us. I was wanting it to really convince us of how good that it was and how worthy it was of. For some people, I have seen rankings of like the top 10 anime. I have seen this at number 2, right behind Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I'm trying to understand why in the hell you would put it at number 2. And I've heard lots of arguments. I've like read things. I just got off a Discord call talking to one of my other friends, explaining why he thought this show was really good, and I'm just not convinced. I'm not. I hoped that with that look-alike Spike episode, that there was going to be some sort of point where either Spike was going to be like just able to have the smallest bit of character growth and recognize what, because Faye said, "Oh, you don't like him because he reminds him of yourself." I was hoping that he was going to actually have that character growth, and maybe it would help him figure out why he hates Vicious so much or something like that. And instead, the story just gets wrapped up because he hits a table, the guy falls, and he's like, "Haha, nice punch. I give up."
You win. I'm not fucking with One Punch Man.
Just fucking blew off into oblivion. And so yeah, I really wanted it to be good, and I really thought that I was going to be able to be an advocate for why the show is good. And unfortunately, we're here at the end. I'm just kind of the same opinion that you all and we, because admittedly I haven't been watching with rose tinted glasses this whole time, that it's just not that great. and again, like, to be fair, it's partly because we've watched the anime that we've watched. The shit that comes out nowadays is really, really great. Intricate stories, phenomenal visuals, etc., etc. But I don't think that we should have to, I mean, we can review this show in a vacuum and say it's good on its own. But if we're comparing it to other anime, I'm not going to put it at number 2. I'm not going to think to myself, well, if I'm going to rank anime, I'll think of Cowboy Bebop on its own and then I'll put it into a tier list, because that's not how tier lists fucking work. You compare them to each other. So to have it at number 2, I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
I think even in a vacuum, the show is not good. Because when I sit down to watch a show or read a book or watch a movie, I expect to be told a story at the bare minimum. And I wasn't told a story in these 26 episodes. I watched a bunch of unlikable characters fly through space and fight people. So.
But I mean,
what the fuck is so funny?
But I think it was the cat.
The cat, it's cleaning itself.
Well, is there like no little
very classy
single stories that you even enjoyed in the show?
There's a lot of the singular episodes I would enjoy, but then after that episode ended, it made me hate the show even more. Because I was like, "Fuck! I wish I could just had that for 5 episodes." Mm-hmm. Like that Rococo one with his blind sister. That was my favorite. Like that could have been 12 episodes, and I would have liked the show.
Yeah. I think the big mistake that we made for the show is that it's just unfortunate that we had such high expectations for the characters to actually grow. And honestly, the only character of the Bebop crew that has grown is Faye. As weird as that is to say, she is the only one that's changed from where we originally met her to where it ended. Because at the end, she didn't want Spike to leave. She didn't want to lose her new, family. She got to figure out her past. She had the opportunity to return home. And yeah, that's the only growth we've gotten out of the whole Bebop crew. Even we've gotten a couple Jet episodes, and I absolutely loved watching Jet's episodes. But I mean, at the end, it's like stuff we already knew. He was a cop and some shit went bad, and now he's a bounty hunter. And then we just got shown that, and some partner shit got settled, and that was about it.
There's a reason these characters don't grow. Besides Ed, take Ed out of it. Well, and Faye, because she does have some growth. But like Spike and Jet, we meet them when they've already gone through all their growth.
Mm.
Like they've already gone through all their shit, and now they're just chilling.
Yeah.
But where was I gonna go with that? I don't like. There are ways to make a show with a character that has already gone through their entire arc entertaining, and this
Yeah.
was not it. Like, I'm trying to think of a good character like Kakashi. Kakashi had already gone through his entire arc. I mean, granted, they showed us that in like flashbacks and shit, but like,
But
there are ways
I
to make
think it's
this character.
stronger because we knew what Kakashi's been through, so we can understand his actions in the future and consequences of his past. With like Spike, for example, like we were hinted at that he was in the syndicate, but when we reached that episode, we were here. Now we're here. In between here, the syndicate shit didn't matter at all. Spike was just the
Yeah,
same.
exactly.
And Spike had the same attitude at pretty much every situation, or he acted a little bit more, was a little bit more ridiculous. I don't know, more out of character against that cowboy guy.
It was like you were watching two separate shows. It was like you were watching when the syndicate got involved. Spike actually became a character, and he actually did stuff, and he was serious, and the show got way serious tone. Then when the syndicate wasn't involved, it was just like, I'm gonna jump out in space and hold my breath and shoot some guns so I can fly around. It's like, what? Excuse me?
I mean, Bebop is full of a bunch of serious episodes. There's a lot of character death and a lot of emotional charge, like with the
Nothing means anything.
Yeah, but still, you can't go for the entire show thinking it's just a comedy bit. You know, it's got its serious moments, got sad moments. I'm not trying to show this show as like only at the end. That's when everything got serious. It only, like, I guess, had consequences at the end. I think that's a better way to put it.
Serious is, yeah, sure, there are serious moments, but the overall arching tone of the show is not serious until the final two episodes. The overarching tone is
laid back,
funny comedy. That's the overarching tone. Because even in the serious moments, they immediately go back to the ship, and then it's a bit and like I said, if once Spike would have been like, oh, you remember that blind girl that her brother died for her, then it would have been. But they never think back to their previous episodes ever.
Mm-mm.
It's just bad, man. I just fucking hate this show.
What was Spike's quote at like the last like couple episodes with like Faye? He was like, I have one eye that looks in the past and the other one that looks into the future, you know, like I'm never in the present.
Yeah, and saying that he lost his eye because of some big traumatic event or whatever. I can't even remember. I can't even remember if we got a flashback that fully explained it or which of the flashbacks was supposed to fully explain it. We just saw him on the table getting operated on, but I don't know at which of his flashbacks caused him to lose that eye. Which is the traumatic event? I don't even know.
I thought it was the episode where we were like first introduced to Vicious, where he got blown out of the church window. That was like the first like seed, right?
I'm pretty sure that the whole point is that it was supposed to have happened before he ever met, for sure before he ever met Faye or Edward. I think it was probably also before he ever met Jet that he had lost his eye. And,
no, I'm saying the flashback
on,
happened during that episode where we got the chance to get introduced to the syndicate. And
I can't remember.
They introduced like that one dude's brother that died in the syndicate. They're like Shay or whatever the heck his name was.
You're Lynn's brother, Shin.
And
he dies.
Don't end up like your brother, Shin. And then I was like wait, is he the brother of the guy? Did he die? I don't remember. And now Shin's here. And then Spike's like, oh, hi, Shin. Hey, Spike. He dies 2 frames later. And then it was like, all right, bye, Shin.
And it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And Vicious.
Shin took an arrow to the knee.
Vicious is such a fucking disappointment of a character, man.
He's cool.
Such a disappointment. He's not cool. He is cool, but he overthrows Syndicate and then gets fucking
That was
killed
cool.
by
His first day. His
gets
first
killed
day
his
at
first
the
day
job.
by Spike, who's shot
Yeah,
in the
that's
shoulder
not
and has a knife in his stomach, and he dies.
Vicious
like-
brought a
Yep.
sword to a gunfight.
But then he gets Spike's gun at the end.
Yeah,
and then
Spike
they
still
throw
kills him.
Then they had a
they throw
moment.
each other's weapons back to each other. Like, what the fuck?
Vicious is such a fucking failure of a character, man. It's such a disappointment. He was the one thing I was excited for in the show, and then there's like, Spike needs a cool ending scene where he goes bang. There's like 20 guys in front of me, but I'm just gonna be there's 20 guys in front of me, and I'm about to die, but I'm gonna be really because I'm Spike. Bang.
Do you think
bitches.
that's supposed to like harken back to when he threw that dude's like harmonica in the air and then he said bang to it?
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
That
kinda
like
know
that
what you're
kid
talking
that he shot and he aged
Yeah.
up. You not remember that episode at all?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, there was a scene
the
where
kid-
after that dude
Remember
died.
the kid that didn't have the ability to like get older or some shit? He's
Nope.
like,
No clue what the fuck you're talking about.
All right, cool.
Damn.
So I'm not talking to you about this now.
Crystals from the stars.
So
Yeah, I know
Josh
what you
and
mean.
Yossef, do you think that means anything? Probably not, right?
Fuck no.
well, see, I didn't even know there was a harmonica.
Do you not
Yeah.
know what a harmonica is?
I know what a harmonica is. I didn't know there was one in that episode. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any connection between those.
I kind of get what you're saying, but because they didn't kind of flash back and forth between that part of that episode and this, no, I don't think it's connected. I think it's just Spike being Spike. Who fucking knows? I don't know.
Well, I read a comment on Crunchyroll after this because I wanted to see people's reactions. Everyone's like, "Oh, I cried so much. The saddest anime ever." Oh, blah blah blah. Blah. First of all, how the fuck you cry? They're like, how are you crying for this guy? We don't even know anything about him. Second of all,
Go ahead.
there's this one comment that was like, I love how this ending is ambiguous. The way I view this ending is Spike survived and he's just chilling by himself in space. I'm like, excuse me, what? He's bleeding out. There's like 40 dudes with guns around him.
And
How the hell is
this,
he gonna
this is
survive?
something I learned today too.
Yeah.
The author never distinctly said that Spike is dead. He was like, to like pretty much every time everyone asked them. So now you have people. Well, no, because now, like it keeps people talking about it. So I get why it doesn't like give you a definitive answer. But can people really believe that Spike lived? Like, dude,
There's no shot. Dude.
there's
Why
no
does he have to
way.
say- why do you have to say for sure Spike died? Did they say specifically if any other character died?
What do you mean?
I mean, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
Like Rocky Rococo.
Yeah, bitch
We
is dead.
watched him die. Yeah.
Okay, didn't
And
we
then they
watch
said he died.
Spike die?
No, we didn't watch Spike. We don't know if Spike actually died
Well,
or not.
He collapsed, but no one checked his pulse.
Well, it's like how the
Yeah,
fuck
he
how the
said
fuck is he
bang,
not
he-
dead? Like the entire show, that fortune teller dude, like the fucking sand, you know, like infinitely going
Yeah.
through his hands. He was like, the star is about to fade, or after a star dies, a new one is born. And then after Spike does the bang, and it flades, it goes up to the stars. And then you see like one star in the background flickering, and then it goes out. So it's like, oh, okay. Spike star is out. He's fucking dead. And now that
Yeah,
gives an opportunity for a new star to be born.
And
Why
even if
else
he's
did they spend like 2 minutes fucking panning up to the galaxy after he says bang?
even if he's
Because
He's
not
playing the
dead,
music. What do you mean? It's
even if he
credits.
didn't die in that scene, bro, there's like an army of goons with guns. There's no way he makes it out.
well, I think
Well, he was probably
the
going to become the
understanding
new
would
boss
be-
of the
yeah.
syndicate.
yeah, exactly. That, or at least that's what I thought, because that's why they didn't shoot him outright as soon as he walked out.
Well, I didn't. I
But-
thought they didn't shoot him outright because they're like, this guy killed how many motherfuckers? He blew
That's
the roof
why,
off
yeah.
this place, and he killed Vicious.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they-
see what
they-
happens here.
They were like, "Holy shit, this guy's what the fuck?"
Holy shit, Spike! You really
I
did
was
all
under
this?
the impression that him doing that would have then been the new Yakuza knockoff leader, but there's no shot that we ever would have seen a version of this show where Spike is now the leader of the fucking Japanese mafia
Well,
knockoff.
Spike never wanted that.
But like, exactly. So then it just makes no sense. And then of course he had to then fucking die, because then that just
There's like
I don't
nothing
know.
else for Spike's character to do after this point. Like this
Yeah,
was his peak.
That's
Julia's
why
gone.
it's
His other half, he killed his rival. You know, and it's like, what else is he gonna do? He's just gonna go back to the Bebop where Ed and
just back
Ein
to
aren't there.
fun
I don't want to
adventures.
go back to a ship without Ein.
So
Yeah.
this show teaches you great lessons. Revenge is the most important thing. Doesn't matter if you die.
Yeah.
No,
Forgiveness doesn't matter.
only if you go bang at the
Yeah,
end.
only if you make a cool death.
It was cool.
If you have a long lost love, wait for them. Maybe you'll see them again for like a day ish.
Yeah, I wish they did more with Julia. She's kinda,
if a girl breaks your heart, wait for her for like 15 years. She'll eventually show up again.
Yeah, and then die.
And then die in front of your face.
When I was talking to my friend, admittedly it's kind of more quote unquote cliche, but I thought it would have been way more interesting if Julia didn't get randomly shot on a fucking rooftop in the middle of nowhere, and they both went to confront Vicious, and she either like betrayed Spike or straight up said to him that she was actually always in love with Vicious this whole time. And then while those two were fighting, that's when Julia gets a stray bullet from Spike shooting. So then Vicious is pissed and he's sad. Spike is pissed at himself and at Vicious and sad, and they're both just super sad. Then it would make more sense why they're both like so caught up in their emotions that they end up both dying and like killing each other because they're so upset that they can't even keep track of their own wounds. But Julia just dies from a random fucking bullet out of nowhere, and there's nothing about that was interesting. I didn't feel sad for her or for Spike at any point. And like I said, I feel like it was completely predictable that those three characters were going to be in the finale, and all three of them were going to be dead by the end of this show. Nothing about it caught me off guard. Nothing about it was surprising.
How?
And that
How
sucks.
is it not predictable? Or how is it
It
not
was
surprising?
predictable.
That's what I meant to say.
Because it was predictable.
Like how? I don't like, you're just saying it is predictable. Like how?
At the beginning of this show, I figured that it was going to end with the big bad guy, the main guy, and his girl. That's what we got.
He wasn't a big bad guy. He was a bad guy for 4 episodes.
The big bad guy, as in his rival. I'll change it to that. Just his rival.
The rival.
And his girl. Yeah. The guy, his rival, and his girl. Of course.
Love triangle.
Yeah. Honestly.
It is.
Bro, can we talk about how dumb Faye? Speaking of Julia, can we talk about how dumb Faye is, bro? She's just by her ship. She sees this random fucking woman getting shot at by a bunch of people. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna hop in your car. What?
Yeah, let me hop in here, bro.
After she had basically decided she was done with bounty hunting and done with the Bebop crew, she just falls right back into it.
Like, oh yeah, cool. I'm gonna arch my back really seductively and shoot a gun. It's like, oh my
that part was more ridiculous to me because like you have these syndicate like assholes shooting like 50 bullets at this one like
rocket launcher.
Corvette, and like Julia's just going like dodging all that shit, and then Faye goes like, wait, give me a sec. Shoots the tire fucking perfect, and it just completely topples the thing. Yeah, she does it with 2 cars. And then instead of driving somewhere else, Julia just goes back where she picked up Faye, and then Faye gets out like, peace out. Hey, tell Spike I said hi. How did you know I know Spike?
That made no fucking sense, dude.
And she says that her name is Julia, and Faye is like so fucking confused by who the hell this is and why she would know Spike. She talked to the like transgender dude who had tits from whatever episode that was, that knew Vicious, and that guy talked about Julia and talked about Vicious. So Faye should totally know who the fuck Julia is and why this is so important, but she goes back to the ship and she just tells Spike, she's like, I talked to some girl, she'll be at that one place.
She'll be there.
And yeah, maybe this is important, but her name was Julia.
Yeah, no, then Spike's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You know who that is.
Oh, it was stupid. Like as soon as she got back, he's like, "Yo, you got some intel for me?" She's like, "Maybe it'll cost you." And then literally like fucking 2 minutes later, she's like, Yeah, I met this fucking bitch. Her name's Julia. Like, what the fuck are you playing on?
Probably
Who?
not important.
Oh yeah, Julia. Oh shit, that person I was supposed to meet up with years ago.
I wish they would have. I'm sorry to bring it back to Spike dying, but
No.
I would have liked to.
It's
see,
ambiguous,
like,
Yossef.
Oh,
I would have liked
man.
to see maybe a little more reaction from maybe Faye or Jet, like if they were really invested in Spike.
Well,
Just I don't know.
they said their goodbyes and they definitely showed their emotions off. We didn't need any more. Because Faye like tried to stop Spike, and then ended up out of frustration, just ended up unloading like her clip into the ship.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
then
remember that.
and then you just see Jet just cleaning out like his old room and stuff, just bumming. So, I mean, we obviously know they didn't want Spike to leave, but Jet wasn't gonna stop him.
Oh, so yeah, I don't. Admittedly, I don't remember that
Wow, you didn't
happening.
watch the show? Sweet.
I remember the show. I remember watching it. I remember
Maybe.
when you said she was shooting her fucking gun. I remember that. Uh, but I guess that being said, then yeah, I don't care then.
No.
Yeah, I feel like the argument that Faye is one of, if not the only character to go through some growth makes sense. That she went from just gambling and wanting to pay off her debts to actually giving a shit about people and wanting to have a place to belong and a family. You can kind of say the same thing about Ed, but honestly, like when I think about that, I think that she just kind of went off to presumably she's going to her dad. We don't even know for sure. She just left the ship with Ein, but
Mhm.
like I can't even confirm that there's any growth there because all we see is that she just left and we don't even see her with her dad. So who the fuck knows if she's even going to be with her dad or the orphans? She just
Probably just
left.
going back
That's
to her
all we
place
know.
she was originally.
And so I couldn't tell you if she went through any fucking growth. All I know is that she
What's her
left the
name?
crew.
Why is her name
Ein.
Edward?
Who knows? Ein went through the most character development in the show, bro.
Hell yeah.
Probably.
Ein is the best.
Yes.
That's
shout
the
out
only
to
character
Ein.
I enjoyed.
He
Yeah.
couldn't get away from Spike at the start, but then at the end he was turned into Mitch. He's like, "Yeah, fuck this guy. I'm going
Fuck
with this
this
little
guy, I'm
dude
leaving."
girl, little child."
And it pisses me off so much because I want to hate Edward so bad because every time they talk, I'm just like, fuck,
Edward.
it's so annoying. But the voice actress does such a good
Makes him
job that I
fucking
can't
third person.
hate it. Like I'm just like, you're so cringy, but you're doing such a good job.
Wait, did you watch the sub or dub? Sorry,
Dubbed.
dub. Okay, yeah.
The voice actress for Ed does a phenomenal job. But
I wasn't blown.
do
Do you just mean that they did a good job at being annoying and like being that character, or like is there?
that was the
I-
only character where I was like, okay, this character actually has a unique, like, it's not just I'm a cool space cowboy and I'm a badass. Like Ed's voice actually had personality, and you could feel how fucking weird she was through her personality, through her voice, and then
So like basically in a world of black and white voices, even though it was brown and it looked like shit, you were like, at least it's something new to look at.
yeah,
Okay.
Ed's voice actress did great. And then I was like, but I really want to hate you because the fucking dialogue you are spitting right now is so cringy and so bad.
Edward
Yeah, I
don't
think-
want to.
Yeah.
I think the best
Ooh,
voice
Spike
actors-
Spike.
Back in the mainframe.
The best
Edward
voice
finding a
actors
way
were for
in.
the animals, the cats and the dogs. They were so realistic.
What?
That's all
Yeah,
Yusuf was
half
paying
the episode, there
attention
was a
to.
fucking cat just meowing.
Because Yusuf
The
like look
best-
at the time. He's like, "Fuck, man, I'm only a minute in. I don't think I can do it, man. Can't do it." Oh, there's a dog. Cool. I'm gonna put that in my brain.
Yep, that's what got me through it.
Yeah.
I was only in this story for Ein. And I just fucking left with a child.
I
With
kind
an
of
Ed.
liked episode 23 when they explored the whole idea of like uploading your consciousness and living on the internet and being free of a body and stuff. But like them recognizing that it almost like took Jet and like hurt
Ein
him or
was the
something,
star
and then
there.
being like, hey, we don't want to risk Jet's life again, so we'll put this on on
Oh.
Ein and risk his life because like
Bro.
dogs are fine.
No,
Bro,
no,
the
and then
fuck?
Ein hacked the fucking mainframe. It wasn't even Ed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not risking Ein's life. Ein's a fucking mega mind. They were
Yeah.
like, yeah, Ein's like, give me this shit.
Mega
I'll fucking do
Mind
it.
2, Ein's Revenge.
Big brain time.
Yeah, because then Ed's just like, oh, and Ein's just like, and then yeah, learns the exact location of some poor little 15-year-old kid who's just dying slowly.
This was the episode where like they were all like hypnotized like for a cult or some shit.
Yeah.
Is this that one?
For brain
Yeah.
scratch, I believe.
Yes.
Or like the beginning of the episode, it was like
This episode.
they were changing channels or some
This
shit.
episode.
Yeah.
That was so fucking annoying,
Bro,
dude.
I almost skipped that episode
kinda
because
interesting.
I thought they were gonna do the trope of the crew sitting on the TV watching TV, and they were gonna show like different. I was like, if this is I'm gonna fucking scream if this is this episode.
At episode 23 out of 26, it's the everybody watches TV episode. Yeah.
Because shows have done that before, like a fucking that 7 show, or it's like a show like that has done that before, where the cast and they do like different mini stories throughout the one episode. It's just like miserable.
Rick and Morty did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really thought that's what was going to happen. I was like, this is miserable.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
Real
this is
fake
kind
girls.
of going on a little bit too long. Let's get to it. And then brain scratch come out and just like, you will leave your body. Leave it behind. You don't need your body anymore.
Like
Such frivolous
it's-
things are unnecessary in the world of the internet. It's like, oh my god. Okay.
it's a
Dead Space vibes
generally
anymore?
speaking, it's an interesting kind of conversation or philosophical idea, but near the end of this anime, and this anime in particular, I was like, what the fuck is this doing here? Why is this here? Why is this in this show? And why are we exploring this idea in episode 23 when we want some actual fucking story resolution and character development?
Because that was the whole thing with Bebop. They literally can throw the characters into anything and it makes sense because they're bounty hunters. And they can just explore how these characters would interact with this psycho cult, you know? Jet would find a back way in with Ed, and Spike would do a more direct, like, way of finding his way into the cult or finding their leader. And, you know, ultimately it just ends with the whole cult was set up just because this kid, you know, turned into a vegetable and wanted other people to be with him in like his realm of the internet. Then they just pretty much unplugged the fucking Ethernet cable on him. It's just
I guess
fucked up. And now that kid's just gonna chill in the bed now all the rest of his life.
Eternal darkness for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Nah, just put him in the Minesweeper. Have him enjoy that for fucking eternity.
I can understand that, but here's the thing: at the end of the day, that's not interesting to me.
Well, then that's just an episode that you didn't enjoy.
Like
And
again, that could, if that was a fleshed
There's a
out
lot of it.
story, that could have made a good like 5-6 episode mini arc. But
No.
no,
That was
it
definitely one of the lower episodes, I think. And like the
There
more
are
I
no-
think
there
about
are
it,
no
the
arcs in this
Episode into a mini arc, man. Like they literally set up each episode damn near to be a mini arc.
yeah, and then there's like,
Because
no, we're
stretches
gonna
out
end
to
it
be
right
100
now.
fucking episodes.
no,
Fuck
I
this episode.
like the more I thought about it too, like that that episode where like Jet like hooked up with one of his like old friends, like daughters, to like look for
I like
the
that
friend.
episode.
You did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He hooked up with his old friend.
I mean,
I thought that the daughter was a very interesting character, and I wish they would have done more with her. But no, it was just, I want to find my dad.
No, Jet was like, "I can be your boyfriend."
Yeah, let me be your boyfriend.
that
baby.
dude, I
Fuck
cringed
you,
so
fuck
fucking
you,
hard.
brother.
Like I turned over on my pillow and screamed. I was like, "Why did you just say that, Jet? Why?"
He's like,
I could be your
"Ice
boyfriend
cream,
or your brother.
ice cream, ice cream."
Could be your
He's
daddy.
Like,
I actually did like the scene though with Jet where he saw like some syndicate people following them, so he just goes into a bar. He's like, "Hey, I'll take a bottle of scotch," and he leaves the bar and just fucking bashes a dude's head in with it. I was like, "Damn,
Mhm.
that was cool. Keep that in my
Metal
brain
explode.
whenever I want to try to do something badass."
Yeah, you're gonna walk into the bar and be like, "Hey, let me get a bottle of scotch."
No, fuck,
They're
we're
gonna be
almost out.
like,
Just give me.
they're like, okay, I'm like, let me get your ID. The guy's gonna come up and shoot you in the back.
Time out. Hey,
Wait a second.
thing.
Let me make this transaction.
Take debit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, do you take debit?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
No, it's something straight out of fucking what was that movie? Fucking The Punisher. They did the same exact thing. He killed a bunch of fucking gangsters with a single bottle of whiskey. Shit was crazy. But yeah, I mean, you know, they eventually met up with the father because they opened like the big like rift, and then the father's like, "Hey, thank you for finding me. I know you would always find me. I did all this just because so I could look at you in the eyes and tell you I'm fucking dead. And there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye." I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
you
dad
couldn't
could have
just
just
write a fucking
died.
letter. Couldn't write a fucking
Well,
letter.
yeah, what's he gonna do? Shit it out the rift he can't open?
It could have been just a fucking email, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That episode I wasn't too crazy on. I did like the daughter, but man.
Yeah, she was an interesting character.
No, I guess I just didn't like the whole rift part. But what the fuck was that episode with Faye? Whoa, the one where she yeah, where like Ed and her go on like the adventures to find like where Faye used to live before, you know, the whole accident. Because it seems like she went into like a shuttle into space and then, you know, something popped on it and then she got cryogenically frozen or whatever. I tried my hardest to say those words.
Yeah.
Bless you.
It at least explains to us why, because I know when we originally found out that she was cryogenically frozen, that we were wondering like, why did her family never try and revive her, or like,
'Cause they're
why didn't her
dead as
family
shit.
ever try and take care of her? Yeah, at least it answered that question and give us some explanation there. But that was good. I appreciated that. I enjoyed that.
I mean, I was like at this point, I'm like, how many times are we just gonna keep revisiting this past shit? You know, I'm like, I get it, Faye. Your mind's in the past, but now you're running up the same road that you used to run up as a child, and now you run up to the house, and I'm like, that shit's gonna be destroyed, isn't it? Sure enough, it's completely gone. And you know, instead of just like standing on the beach or something, she like draws the outline of the house and like puts like a square where her like room used to be and then lays on the dirt. And I was like,
what the
Faye,
fuck is
you
that doing?
got some going on in your head and I don't think it's healthy.
No, she's desperate to have a home.
No, but this was probably like one of the only parts I got choked up in the show where like Ed and Ein left the crew. Because like that whole like separation thing, like, you know, Jet got all these boiled eggs ready for like
the whole
everyone, and then you know it's spiking them eating all these eggs. I don't know how they ate all those eggs, dude. I'd be done after like fucking 2 of those goddamn things. But yeah, seeing Ein and Ed go on their merry way. Faye is kind of ambiguous. We don't know what she's going to do now. And then Jet and Spike seem like they're back to where we started in this show. And that, you know, I wasn't fucking crying. I was like, this kind of, you know, yeah, a little prick, little prick in the strings.
It's that whole thing where the entire time Spike and Jet were like, we don't care about these two. Like, they're not, or these three, they're not part of our family or whatever. And then they leave. They're like, oh shit, man, it's quiet in here.
Yeah, it's really quiet.
I miss them. So,
and what better to drown your, you know, guilt than eating hard-boiled eggs?
Dude, speaking of characters that we don't even know her name, and we barely even met her, but I wish we would have known more about the freaking nun that was taking care of all those orphans. She was cool.
Yeah, she was nice.
She was like, "Dear Lord Father in heaven, you know we're here, so let's freaking eat." And I was like, "That's fucking cool, dude." And
a gift care of all for Ed? Like, yeah, this is a picture of your dad. Oh,
I was like, father person,
father, dad,
Daddy?
Mommy,
Daddy.
What, mommy?
Daddy.
Daddy, it's me, Edwardina.
Edward. Edward.
Oh God,
brother Edward. No, but aside
Mhm.
from that, I think we've covered all the episodes. We didn't talk too much about like the crazy psycho kid, but I mean, that episode
It
was
was
just
cool.
pure action, and the
The
animation
animation
was
so
fucking
good.
stellar, man. With the whole,
Yeah.
just even the start of the episode, like the shootout in the alleyway, and then they led to the
Mhm.
carnival. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like,
And
say what you
yeah.
want about Bebop, but their animation is fucking on point on some of
Especially
these
for that
episodes,
time,
man. Dude, it
for when
was,
it was made.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's impressive, man.
Yeah.
You can't flack the
maybe
show for
maybe
that.
that's why people rank it pretty high because of this the art in it or
Well,
something.
that
Not
that is a
necessarily the story.
that is a big reason why people rank it high, is because the aesthetic and the animation.
No, I think the
That's so
animation in
appealing.
the
The
show and the
music.
setting is great. The music is fucking awesome.
Music.
It's just, the plot leaves us like very indifferent because we wanted more out of it. But really, what they were telling us is here's your story for this episode, swallow it whole. And then at the end, that's when we got closure where we wanted this spread out more. But I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
And
with this syndicate story, what can you really talk about? It's very straightforward. Spike
Exactly.
wanted to get out of the
I mean,
syndicate. He wanted what the fuck was her name again? I forgot. Julia to come with him, but she got stopped by Vicious, and now they were just split up. Man, you can't really explore that for too long. I guess you could have more
Mhm.
episodes of Spike being in the syndicate and his relationship with Vicious and Julia, but man,
and
you
the
got enough
show
context to know what happens.
the show really banks on the fact that you'll get attached to one of our four main characters, and if you don't, then it's just you're not going to enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
for me, I didn't get attached to any of our main
Hey,
characters.
Faye's a character too, okay? There's 5 main characters.
Okay, fine, 5. I forgot about Faye.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was talking with one of my friends before this podcast, he said that, I think that at the time that it was released, there was not a lot in terms of literally the space cowboys, and that's why shows like this and like Trigon had a lot of success, and that's why people really enjoyed them and loved them.
Well,
Um, but like we've said, we are not used to, or it seems like some of us are not fans of just having those isolated stories episode over episode. That we want an interconnected story that tells something deeper and greater, and not just given to you piecemeal episode over episode. And I don't think that the episode count is any kind of an excuse to not have a meaningful story. I was talking with my friend and I said The Promised Neverland or season 1 had half the episodes and told a monumentally more interesting, in-depth story that caught me off guard, had so many twists and turns in the story and so many things that took my breath away. I never felt anything even remotely close to that when watching Cowboy Bebop. And maybe I was not supposed to, and you can argue that the creators never wanted anything like that to happen and never tried to get that to happen, but that's part of why I don't like it, is that nothing really caught me off guard. There were no huge twists to the story that made me surprised and be like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or I didn't expect that. I don't know, it's hard.
Yeah. No.
I think it's a
It's hard.
fault
It's
too
hard for me to defend
because
it.
well, I think it's a fault too because from all the media you hear the show is like, like you said before, like number 2 on lists and shit, and it's really up there, and you hear it as like a classic. I think that sets a very
Yeah, there's
bad expectation for you, and you still have that expectation watching the show, and it's never, hitting that high mark for you because it's not what you expected.
yeah,
So go ahead.
this show is on some people's Mount Rushmore of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which
mean,
makes no
at
sense
the
to me.
end of it, I feel like I would be fine rewatching the show because once I got it in my head where, okay, this is just going to be a bunch of self contained episodes, let's just enjoy how each character interacts with their situation. My favorite part of these types of shows is that how the characters interact with each other, especially on like the ship and stuff. So I got enjoyment out of that. And it just, when I turn that like switch in my head, my expectations started to go lower and lower for the show, but that's not really a positive thing, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I guess, in the same way that we're comparing it to Pokemon, it's like if this was what I saw week over week on Saturdays when I was younger and I hadn't really watched a lot of anime, I think I'd really enjoy it. I think it was really fun, really interesting. And all the things that we've said are positives, like the visuals, the music at times, the graphics, great. But this is not the current scenario, and so when I can't help but compare it to everything else that I've watched, it's just not that great compared to everything else.
Well, like I said before, I think even in its own vacuum, it's still false. It's still a failure of a show.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, you can do the story per episode and still make it entertaining, and still make the characters unique and fun to watch, and still make the characters grow. But this show was, we've already done all our growing like off screen, so you're just gonna see us do the same shit every fucking episode for 26 episodes. It's gonna be we're gonna
This
go
episode.
we're gonna go find a bounty. We're gonna have some goofy, witty chase, and then we're gonna get the bounty, or we're gonna find out that the bounty is actually a good person with good intentions, or there's a misunderstood person, and we're gonna let him go. That's the story.
Or they'll
But
die and we can't collect on the bounty, or they'll get away and we can't collect on
yeah,
the bounty, or
that's
it'll
every
be a
episode.
computer and we can't collect on a computer's bounty, or they'll get caught by the police and then we can't collect on.
So people, you'll need to watch the show because I just explained to you the entire show. So
Yeah, I would say probably for this show, watch like the first couple of episodes, and if nothing like interests you so much, then I think saying, "Hey, what was this show like? 26 episodes." I think that's kind of a tall ask for people that are more seasoned with shows. But I mean, give it a couple episodes, see if you want to keep watching it. But I mean, for me, I think this is a solid show. I enjoyed it for what it was. And
What's your ranking out of 10?
Well, I'll let you guys start off because I have to think of it.
You start.
I gotta think of it, so we're gonna be
Okay,
sitting
then
here in
think
fucking
of it. We'll
silence,
wait.
man.
Yeah, we'll wait.
I think Mitch has
We gotta
his
hit that
fucking
hour
number
mark.
ready, dude.
No.
Oh, no, just kidding.
What did I give Cromartie? Like a 0.5, right?
You gave it like a 12.
No. For what did I give Cromartie? I think I gave like a 0.5.
Who knows, dude? I don't remember.
I'll give this show a 3.5.
Wow.
Actually, no, because I gave Love Domination a 4, so I have to give this show.
A 4.
I gave World and Love Domination Superhero White Gelato Cumboy a 4, so I have to at least give this one a 4.5.
Okay, so this is better. You like this one more than that one?
Yeah.
I'd probably give this one a 2 because it's
seriously
it's a pretty anime. It's just pretty. That's it.
I'll give this a 4.5.
Interesting.
I'm gonna fucking nail it with a 2, dude. I watched Love After twice.
Why?
I watched it once with you, and I watched it once with Megan.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Because it's like it's a funny anime. Like, it is actually funny. It was funny to me, man.
Did you enjoy it any more or less the second time?
I enjoyed it more the second time, and I watched it all dubbed the second time.
Well, second time you could just chill. You don't actually have to remember shit. You could just enjoy the show for being a show.
Yeah.
Josh?
It's not nearly as high as I would have wanted it to be. I'll say that. I'd say, yeah, I'd put it in the same kind of like 4 or 5-ish thing where I'm just, and even then I feel like I'm not passionate about putting it there because it's middle of the road and I'm not ranking it high or low. I'm just kind of throwing it there because I don't know what to give it. I kind of feel obligated to put it there because, again, like I do enjoy the visuals. I like the 90s aesthetic. I like the whole space cowboy things. Clearly, I'm a fan of that. I like the music a lot. I love that it's jazzy and funky and weird and crazy. But just the story at no point, again, like if somebody asked me about it, I wouldn't be able to be like, oh yeah, you really gotta check out this episode of this episode and this one and this one. I would just be like, I don't know, try it if you want. Again, like I probably would do what I always do, which is that when people who don't know much about anime, I would recommend Promise Neverland, because I'm like, by the end of episode 1, if you're not hooked and interested, I don't know what the heck is wrong with you, but I guess you're not going to like this show. It's 13 episodes, half the size, easy to digest, and way more interesting.
We don't talk about season 2 though.
Exactly. I don't even act like it exists.
There's a season
And
2.
so
No, there's
yeah.
not.
So this is not one that I would recommend, and this isn't one that, unfortunately, this isn't one where I'm walking away thinking like, I'm glad this was my pick. I'm glad that I used my pick for this show. I'm kind of sitting here going, fuck, damn, all right, well, I guess that is what it is. Which I guess
So-
is kind of not exactly, but kind of how you felt about Noragami, where you're just like, damn, I mean, I guess this is it now.
No. Noragami had a way different effect on me the second time through, because I had such fond memories of that show and such
Gotcha.
fond
Yeah.
memories of Yato, and I still love Yato. But after the rewatch for this, I was like, fuck, how did I even like that show? I mean, it's a decent show. I enjoy Noragami more than Bebop, but
Gotcha.
it's still not. And I'm gonna change my rating, because I gave Love Domination a 4, but I gave that a 4 going into expecting to give that a 0. I expected to give this show like a 7 or 8, so I'm gonna give it a 3 because it really fucking
Because it
disappointed me.
fell off from what you were thinking that it was going to be. Yeah.
Really disappointed me.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hot take coming up. 7. The setting, the atmosphere, the voice acting, the music, the fucking intro alone was awesome as fuck.
Oh, unquestionably, that's fantastic.
And you know, guilty pleasure of mine, but I did enjoy Spike doing all the cool generic shit. So I was able to just enjoy the characters interacting with each other. And you know, there's some low stinker episodes that I didn't really care for, but there is a good amount of episodes that I enjoyed, especially like the last like couple. I probably enjoyed like 5 of the last 7 that we watched. And you know, for a show to have me enjoy all that stuff, you know, definitely deserves higher marks. Like a 5 to me is like an average. If Cowboy Bebop can make me enjoy all that, I think it's worth 7. But if you're looking for something deep and juicy to sink your teeth into, don't think this is it. This is an anime where you just kind of enjoy it for what it is. And if you can't enjoy the first couple episodes, well then it's just going to be the same ride the whole way.
Yeah.
I think that's fair for my rating.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's fine if people like that. I think that's totally okay. That's just
Spike
not my
is
thing.
dead though. Get out of here. Get your fucking heads out of the sand. He's dead.
Yusuf's not even fucking looking at the camera.
You know how
Yusuf's
dumb that
head
would
isn't
be?
even in this podcast.
And we got special guest, fucking, what's his name? Shoes?
Socks.
Boots?
Her name.
Boots the monkey?
Yep, Boots the monkey is here. Yeah. If you like the episode story of this episode, then that's fine. But I guess now, partially just because of the ones that I've watched, the ones that you guys have recommended to me, I'm used to a lengthy, interconnected, deep, and interesting story. And so watching this, I was just like, where's the sauce? Where's the juice? Where's the meat? Where's the stuff? Where's the goods?
Bro,
and we didn't get it.
So excited that we're finally going to start talking about good shit again.
Yeah.
I hope.
I'm excited.
No. I don't think this watch through was as enjoyable as my first one, but I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future I'll rewatch it again, see if my emotions change now that I actually watched it with more of a, I don't know, reviewer eye.
Mm-hmm. No, like Yossef said, I'm glad I watched it just because it's everyone's fucking top 10. I'm glad I now have that experience of watching it. It was a waste of 26 episodes, but
26 episodes is a tall ass though for a lot of series.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'll be able to participate in the discussions of people's like top anime, and that if this is there, I know enough to be able to say I disagree and here's why.
Well, you know, make sure you buy a bottle of scotch beforehand just to defend yourself, you know, just like Jet had to do.
Yeah.
But
surprised that his bottle didn't shatter, but
nah, Jet's just built different. But I think with that, we are all done with Cowboy Bebop, right, guys? Unless there's anything else you want to bring up.
Yes.
Right.
So long,
But-
Space Cowboy.
Yeah.
Nothing sounds any better than being done with this.
Good riddance, Space Cowboy.
All right.
Rest in peace,
But
Space
with
Cowboy.
that, we are going to be ending this episode of This Episode Podcast. So whoever hung out for this episode, thank you for hanging out. And we will see you in the next one. Roll the outro, Space Cowboy.
On the next episode of This Episode, Trav, Josh, Mitch, and Yossef discuss the last 5 episodes of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Make sure to hit that like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new episodes. Also, make sure to check us out on Spotify at This Episode Podcast. You can watch us live every Monday night at twitch.tv/Dutchery. And as always, thank you for watching.